Hello everyone who have managed to stumble across this video. My name is Undoubled3, some people call me Undoubled, some even call me 3. You're also welcome to refer to me as Just Donald. Those of you who are watching, I would very much like to thank for giving me your valuable time. A little bit of background about me. I've been using YouTube ever since 2006, so I've been around for quite a bit. Shout out to those of you who remember when YouTube Live used to be a thing. Uploading videos has been something that I've been wanting to do for some time, but never really got around to it due to lack of equipment or general drive. But it's 2021, so I finally decided to get off my lazy ass and actually make this dang thing. I've been playing video games ever since I was just a lad. You know, your typical classics, Mario, Legend of Zelda, Mortal Kombat every time mom and dad weren't home because you're a sneaky little turd. Through my gaming adventures, I eventually learned about a little gaming franchise you might have heard about. Yeah, I think you've got the picture. Because of Halo, I quickly fell in love with FPSs. You've got your CODs, your Battlefield, your Overwatch. Spent way too much time trying to get masters on there. Despite my falling out from Overwatch, however, I did grow a love for FPSs that had characters make use of a wide array of game-changing abilities, with Tracer's Recall allowing players to fix a positional mistake, Zarya's Barriers absorbing enemy damage to build up your own damage to absolutely melt people, my personal favorite, and Mei for being the actual spawn of Satan. Fast forward a few years and Apex Legends releases and I immediately fall in love. As of late, I pretty much play Apex exclusively, hence why you see my gameplay of it now. With its exciting gunplay, interesting lore, and super dope community, I feel excited to jump into matches because of my love for the game, and how it's helped me deal with stress. Now, you may be asking, but Donald, isn't Apex an FPS, which are notorious for being filled with sweaty players and ragers, you being one of those players? Yes, you would be correct. Now, don't get me wrong, FPSs are essentially breeding grounds for some of the more colorful characters in the gaming world.
Shut the fuck up! What the fuck?!
I mean, the whole purpose of playing games like Call of Duty, Halo, or Overwatch is to assert your dominance over the enemy team through victory by any means. Whether you're a player who prefers to rush into the front lines guns blazing, or a player who likes a more supportive role, taking shots from a distance, giving your teammates covering fire, these are just a few methods players choose in order to get any sort of edge over their opponent. Even if you wanted to, you could also be a little pansy who runs a one-man army noob-tube combo, just lobbing shots across the map with absolutely no sort of skill needed to secure a Harrier, then easily getting a chopper gun or AC-130 and just blast your way to a nuke while in God's name didn't Infinity Ward to account for this As you can see, some of these strats can cause players to get pretty annoyed to the point of ungodly stress. With FPSs being a naturally competitive environment, it can be frustrating if a match doesn't go a certain way for a player pursuing that dub, especially with the rise of esports over the past few decades. With esports being on track to becoming a $1 billion industry, it's easy to see not only has the definition of what is considered a sport different from its traditional roots, but a player with above average skill can very well be considered a pro, if given the platform to be seen. With outlets like Twitch and YouTube, players with immense skill can broadcast their gameplay for tens of thousands of people, even with the hope of grabbing the attention of professional gaming organizations like NRG or TSM, Shroud and XQC being just a few examples of gamers who've made very lucrative careers out of professional gaming, be it on stage or on stream. With the possibility of playing video games as a career being even more accessible to the masses, your average gamer may wish to pursue this path as well. But easier said than done. With streaming and recording gameplay being readily available compared to a decade ago, the market has become more saturated. Even those with great skill might not be able to become what they deem to be successful due to the sheer number of gamers seeking the same path. Countless hours are pushed into getting any sort of content deemed quote-unquote good enough. Skill gaps increase as games get older and players become more experienced with them. With these odds stacked against you, you would think all of the hard work will be what sends you into the spotlight. But then your content goes unnoticed. Your viewership isn't what you would like it to be. engagement on posts is sparse at best, and you're left wondering if you're even taking the right path. This insecurity can lead one to feelings of doubt, sadness, and overall stress. With all of that said, you're probably asking, Donald, this is all well and good, but what does any of this have to do with how Apex helps you with your stress? Throughout my years of playing FPSs, I can say that I've never played a game like Apex before. Being someone who had only played arena-style shooters, I wasn't sure how I would fare in a battle royale. However, Apex had something that I hadn't felt ever since my Halo 3 days, and that is how effective the game is at immersing the player. When it came to online matches in COD or Battlefield, the player ultimately plays as a blank character. Sure, you may argue that that decision was done purposely by the game designers in order to place yourself in the game by limiting any sort of distinctive quality in the voodoo doll you're controlling. But with Apex, things are much different. Each legend is a fully fleshed out individual, someone with their own story for why they're into Apex games, where their personality trait is shown through dozens of voice lines, not only in voice emotes, but in the pinging system as well. One can also argue that Overwatch has plenty of heroes with deep lore and expressive voice lines in-game, and I would very much agree with you. Along with Apex, one of the drawing points Overwatch had for me was this interesting story the game had that wasn't always surface level. Entire maps were created that held lore that isn't directly told to the player. One can explore Eichenwald and find the remnants from the Honor of Glory cinematic and understand why you find Baldric's body at the end of the map. And if someone were to look close enough, you can find a framed picture of Amelie and Gerard in Chateau Guillard, causing speculation if Widowmaker's reconditioning from Talon could be wearing off, explaining why she still has the photo despite killing Gerard. The problem, however, is with Overwatch being a fast-paced game, people may not always be able to notice these lore pieces. With Apex being a battle royale, players are given ample opportunity to explore these ever-changing maps, with each season adding new points of interest, moving set pieces, and interactable audio logs that correlate with specific legends. My favorite example being from Season 7 on Olympus, where if the player chose Horizon, they could find several audio logs from her son Newton for her to listen to, which are then followed by Horizon responding to said audio logs. In these moments, we get to hear these real emotions from Horizon and the hope in her voice that she will return to Newton. The player doesn't feel as if they're playing Horizon, they are Horizon. It's just... Yeah, that's good stuff. With Apex's constantly evolving lore, and with the recent release of the Pathfinder's Quest lorebook, which goes into even further depth of each legend thus far, it's easy to see how Apex has done a fantastic job for me personally at immersing me into this world, and how it helps me with forgetting about the stress I have in my life. Also, if you are just as into the lore with Apex as I am, I would definitely recommend purchasing the Pathfinder Quest lore book. It is quite phenomenal. When I look back at my past, video games have always been there for me as a way to de-stress and to forget about the worries in my life, even for a fleeting moment. Despite whatever claims mainstream media or your neighborhood Karen has that video games are just a sort of gateway drug into committing heinous acts of violence, please know that that's just all BS. I can say with certainty that even after playing Grand Theft Auto for years, I have never once thought about jacking a car or robbing a convenience store. In my opinion, video games are pieces of art that tell gamers these unique stories, and if the story is good enough, sucks you right into that world for that session of gaming. Video games aren't some dangerous tool of encouragement for violence. Video games are outlets in the best form possible. And that's pretty damn beautiful. If you made it this far, I want to thank you again so very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to me ramble. At the end of the day, this has all just been my opinion, so I would love to know, what are your thoughts? Do you hold the same sentiment as I do for Apex, or do you have a game in your life that has an even more expansive lore? Also, do you agree that video games are positive or negative outlets for stress? I would love to have a conversation about this in the comments below. If you like this video and would like to see more of this kind of content, please consider giving this video a like and by subscribing to this channel. And if you're feeling extra spicy, consider following me on Instagram. I regularly post clips of my gameplay that I find pretty cool on there. The link to that will be in the description below. This video was super fun to make, and I would love to continue making videos like this in the future. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and until next time, this is Donald, signing out.